Greetings, dear friends, and we are happy to welcome you to the international online discussion dedicated to the international forum, which is called Global Crisis: We Are People We Want to Live, which took place on the 7th of May 2022 on the platform of the Creative Society Project. This is the event which was initiated by people and for people, by volunteers from around the world, and united on its platform millions of people from 180 countries.
And today we continue discussing these topics which were raised at the forum. And we are discussing them with specialists, with experts. And today with us, we have Sunita Banjade. She's a founder at Empowered Women.
Warm welcome to everyone. And I would like to introduce my co-host today, Alex from Germany. Alex, happy to see you. Before we begin, just would like to invite everyone to watch the forum that we have spoken about, which took place on the 7th of May in full length on the platform of the Creative Society Project, and to continue the wave of informing people about the current issues that we as a society is facing today. And the first question that I would like to address right now to Sunita, please share with us what information at the forum impressed you most?
The thing is that this human trafficking, right? Like, I would love to talk about like more of the causes, like, you know, the causes of human trafficking, which is like lack of empowerment and for women and girls. And I think that is like something which has like, you know, made me think a lot. And also something I think not directly, but I would say that indirectly, I'm also working towards, towards helping out with this cause. And because as you can see that, you know, my profession itself is like empowered women, and, you know, where I'm like, you know, helping women to educate themselves. And also, in fact, like, you know, this inspiration, why I started working on this empowered woman. And empowered woman has to do something with this poverty. And, you know, human trafficking is like, you know, usually, you know, there because of this poverty as well. You know, that is the main cause and main root of this, you know, human trafficking. So that's why I chose this topic, which I mean, usually I haven't spoken in this topic, but then I think this is something related to my profession. And also I think I can, you know, talk more on that. So that is something which inspired me and really touched my soul. And, you know, I thought that, you know, it will be really interesting to speak about this topic.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a really very important topic. And it's so great that there are people that are already right now they doing something in order to prevent this, the human trafficking. They're helping people who are already in danger, and they contacting people who can have this possibility to get out of it, get out of this situation. And we also know that there are a lot of foundations, funds that are also trying to help to solve this issue. But, you know, in our consumer format, it's a really hard topic, and we see that there are a lot of money that are invested in order to solve this, but still the issue is still there. And, you know, in order to get the understanding how is it working and how we can get out and really solve this issue, I invite our guest to watch the next video.
Perhaps you may think it will never happen to you, while those people have been given all the help they needed and they are now safe. And indeed, there is now a huge number of organizations and foundations dedicated to helping people. The largest of them, the United Nations, is positioning itself as the guarantor of peace and security of humankind. For decades, we have been hearing beautiful slogans and promises from high rostrums. If you listen to these loud statements, it may seem that we will solve all our problems. There will be no more poverty, no more hunger, no more wars, and we will all live well. After all, there are over 100 international organizations working under the aegis of the United Nations to solve the world's problems. For every new problem, a new organization is created. Every year, UN member states pay huge contributions to these organizations. In fact, this is money from our pockets. These are the taxes we pay to the state. Between 2010 and 2020, according to official data, the 44 UN organizations alone raised $540.4 billion. Contributions to the UN organizations have increased by 58% over 10 years. But let's take a look at what we have achieved over this period of time. The largest amount of money today goes to solving the problem of hunger. The main UN organizations to tackle this problem are the World Food Program, WFP, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. They have raised $79.8 billion over the last 10 years. Current estimates are that almost 690 million people are hungry in the world and 750 million people are severely food insecure. The Food and Agriculture Organization itself predicts an even greater increase in hunger by 2030, 841 million people. So, the World Food Program is projecting funding needs for 2022 already at $13.9 billion. So they say, there will be more hungry people, so they need more money. It is a legitimate question. How is it that, with ever-increasing funding, the problem itself is only becoming worse? Let's look at another problem, the refugee problem. The number of refugees has doubled over the past 10 years, comprising 82.4 million in 2020. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, deals with refugee issues. Over the past 10 years, funding for the organization has increased by 56%, reaching $4.8 billion in 2020. Let's look at what kind of help they provide to people. One area of refugee assistance is shelter. On their website, they state, "The main part of our protection mission is to guarantee access to proper shelter in humanitarian emergencies. We provide tents, distribute plastic sheeting, and develop strategies, tools, and guidance in emergency situations, and provide emergency assistance to those who need it most. On cold nights or hot days, our help can be the deciding factor between life and death. In an emergency, tarpaulin tents are an adequate short-term measure, but people live in such tent camps for years in inhumane conditions with no hope of the future. Due to the lack of even basic sanitation conditions, people die of infectious diseases. Who benefits from the problem not being solved? As long as there is a problem, there is funding. And if the problem is solved, there will be no funding and therefore no organizations. As long as there is a financial interest, as long as someone makes money from it, no one will solve the problem. The UN itself is very much like a transnational corporation in its structure. There is a parent company that coordinates and manages the activities of its other companies, but each brand is a separate business entity. In 2020, more than $3.7 billion was spent to maintain the UN bureaucracy. On staff and director salaries, health insurance, holidays, business class flights, and other expenses. The planned expenditures for the renovation of the Palace of Nations alone in Switzerland, where the UN headquarters is located, is $871 million. With this money, 174,000 houses could be built using 3D printing technology. How many refugee families could benefit from this housing? But alas, building homes for those in need is not a priority for their aid. What do we have in the end? Numerous organizations that we have entrusted with the responsibility of solving serious problems of humanity turn out, on closer examination, to be merely business structures. It becomes obvious that there is a direct interest in the growth and aggravation of problems. In other words, it is beneficial for someone that people starve, struggle to survive, and make wars with each other. And that is the cynicism of the consumerist format of society. Creating the illusion of solving a problem without the real goal of eradicating it is a principle of the consumerist format. Under such conditions, it is tantamount to anesthesia for a fatal illness. And even closing or reforming some organizations or firing some individuals will not save the situation, because new ones will come in their place and do the same thing, making money off our lives. Today, because of our tacit support for the consumerist format, we are all on the precipice. The rapid escalation of all crises will soon bring us all, without exception, to the brink of disaster. What kind of help will we get? A piece of tarpaulin for shelter and a couple of bottles of water?
That's the sad reality that we're facing today. Sunita, please share with us also your opinion about the video that we've watched, and also tell us why the problem of human trafficking still exists. Because today, we, as the human society, we have all types of technologies, knowledge, skills, experience that allows us to solve pretty much any problem that we're facing right now. But why still we have these problems, including the problem with human trafficking?
And in my opinion, I would say that, even though we are all educated and there's a lot of funds and there are people helping and out that, but still there are many people out there who are benefiting with it. And people are mainly, the first tactic is like dehumanization, which is the opposite to humanity. And people, they do say so that, there is humanity and there is funding, and people are helping from different ways. Like some are helping with the funding, some are helping with education, all that. But then there are a lot of people who are still making a profit out of it. So human trafficking is still existing. And even of course, human trafficking is in other words, it's a modern slavery, right? So in many countries, it's still existing. And it is I think it is important for us to really work together. And even though we know that it is still existing, and because of this greed, the main thing is the greed. And even though people are aware, just now how you said that, we are educated and there's a technology and there are all kinds of helps going on. And I'm not saying that it's not really helping, but then it's very difficult to stop because of the greed. Main thing is the greed, and people know it, they have the knowledge and they can acknowledge it, but then still it's going on. And main root is that greed. But nevertheless, I think we all have to work together. We still have to work together towards this cause, and whatever way we can do it, however way we can do it, directly or indirectly, we should still be helping out and protecting human trafficking.
Yeah, thank you. And this understanding, it's really hard actually, because in our society there are such conditions where people actually have these ideas in mind that they can take one person and sell him or her to somebody, or like for organs transplantations and so on. Like, it's so horrible to understand that people are doing it because of this greed and this situation. I mean, they don't even put themselves in the positions of these slaves, and it's so horrible because when we understand that because of our format of society, like these relationships between people, that it's normal in our society that somebody can sell somebody to others. Why it's normal? Because we are mostly silent about it. So we know about it, but only few people are doing something against it, right? And most of the society, they either don't know or do nothing. But like the main question arises how we can still break this spiral of silence, how we can really solve this issue as a humanity. What can we do?
Yeah, the thing is, like I said, main thing is, another thing is not only greed, like how you said, like people are not empathetic, like, not putting somebody in their shoe. What if it was their children or their, daughter or something, because mainly children and girls are the main victims, mostly. I'm not saying that men are not. Of course, men are also victims of human trafficking. But the thing is, there are more women and children who are trafficked, right? So those people, traffickers, they don't really, they become blinded. There is no empathy. Like in front of this greed, they forget everything. It's not about that they are not aware or they are not educated or stuff like that. But then I think people are blinded in front of this money and for seeing their profit, that they forget everything. So, just selling and forced labor, child laborers and selling people's organ. That's not something normal, right? So I think for a person to reach to this traffickers level, they have to be something in different level. They are not, I would say that they are not normal people. They are the people who are destroying everyone just for their greed. And I think how we can stop it, we cannot just suddenly stop it or something. People have been trying to stop it for many years already, but then it's still going on. But only thing we can do is we keep being we keep educating people, and we be aware of ourselves. And also, if we are already aware, then I think it doesn't end by just being aware ourselves, and that's why we have to educate people, our environment, our surrounding. It's so important. And also the thing is, let's say, and not only educating people who are traffickers, I meant to say, of course, educating our girls, our victims, right? Because they are the main targets. And those traffickers, they try to, manipulate them and use them when they see that they are vulnerable, and they can target them easily, right? So that's important for us to take. I think people who are more privileged, they have to take care of those people who are less privileged than them, right? Even though we cannot completely stop it, but then we can help by, being aware that, okay, they are less privileged, then we cannot just leave them there just because our life is better or something like that, So helping in any ways you can. It doesn't mean that, you need to be very rich or something like that. If you have education and if you have some access to education and to help with the poverty and stuff like that, one way or the other, you can do it. I think little by little, we can do it. At least it is better than not doing anything at all. And I think we all are responsible, whether you are into social work or not. And also another thing is, just now, I think you mentioned, why it's not stopping, right? Because I think a lot of people, when they are into their business world or working, I'm not talking about being traffickers, right? Even a lot of people, when they are into their, this thing, business or corporate job or anything, people, they are aware that these kind of issues are going on, but then people are not willing to take part, It's not happening to me, so why to bother? You know what I mean? Why to bother? Why to care? So there are a lot of people who are ignorant. There are people, I think this is not just complaining, but this is the truth. Let's face the truth. This is the truth. And because not everybody is empathetic. that's also one cause of which is much difficult, because we need a lot of helping hands. We can't just be like only few people or something who are concerned or something like that. Some people are even educated and they have full access to education or even funding and stuff like that. As long as they are business is going on. I'm not saying that they are into trafficking, okay? Even if they are own clean business, as long as I'm making money in my own way and stuff, why to care? And as long as it's not happening to me and my family, why to care? So there are a lot of ignorant people too. So because of that reason too, this is becoming even much slower, right? So, I think those privileged people, and even, it's not about not being educated too. They are fully educated and fully aware as well. And also this is not something to complain about, because we can see that every day's life, when we are dealing in our society too, when we are with friends or family and stuff like that, there are people who are not at all bothered, even though they could do something. So it's quite difficult and much challenging as well, right? So I think, in my opinion, it is really hard to say when would it stop, even though in a data and stuff there, it has mentioned that, some countries it has stopped, but I really doubt that. Is it really stopped? And is it really possible? Let's be realistic, So that's something I think that's very much thought-provoking.
Thank you very much, Sunita. I'd like to add here a few things, because right now we see several problems. One of the problems that we as a society, we have faced the total crisis of human values, which is actually resulted by the consumeristic format of thinking. Because first, we put as the main value money, but not someone's life. However, all of that can be solved in the creative society when we put the life of every human being on the first place. In that case, the problem of human trafficking or other problems which were announced today in the video during today's discussion, if we could read evolutionally that difference between privileged and underprivileged people, when people will have at least minimum income, which is enough for having everything, food, clothing, be able to pay for their utilities, for having a nice house or flat, be able to rest, be able, for example, to give good education to their children, that problem will eliminate itself. Because as long as we have the difference between people, when we are dividing people between rich, poor, privileged, underprivileged, normal sort of people, we are not going to solve that problem ever. Why? Because the format of the society is not changing. And also, I don't see right now how it can be, for example, solved through the education. We have mentioned several times that education is important, but still education is not helping to solve the problem, for example, with refugees, with human trafficking, with hunger, with water crisis. Why? Because, for example, same educated people who got nice education, medical education, for example, they're doing surgeries, for example, to take the kidneys or the liver from the child or from the woman, and then they are reselling that in some kind of organs market. They are still educated, right? But still they make a different choice. They're not making a choice, for example, to help people, but still they're making a choice how to harm a person just because they need to earn additional, dollar or whatever. Still, we are facing right now as a society a global problem, the problem of how to finally, change our way of living, understanding the value of life, start thinking as a whole society in a totally different direction, not in consuming each other, because we're literally consuming each other in one way or another, but instead of creating things which are going to make the whole world happier, safer, and protected from anything. And that's where the Creative Society project comes in, because it offers a totally different view on how the society should live and develop. If we, for example, implement already today the first foundation of the creative society, which is the life of every human being, the things will change differently just over the night all over the world, right? Because that's going to change already the way we think and we act. Till we keep supporting the consumeristic format of the society, things are not changing. And thinking from the consumeristic logic, why would they need to change? If, for example, people are still, getting, money, everything, is fine with them, and they would like, for example, to continue in that direction. However, if we keep informing people of how we all as a society benefit just from implementing the creative format of thinking, is going to change the world, like I said already, over the night. And it's not a problem at all, because it was, mentioned today that we have quite many different types of technologies which can make our life easier, safer, richer, right? And it's not, it's not difficult. We already have those technologies. Thank you, friends.
Yes, and if we continue this topic, discussing how we can try at least to solve, or how nowadays people are trying to solve this issue. So we create this organization, we invest money to solve this issue, but all these problems are businesses. Really, this human slavery, trafficking, organ transplantation market, it's a huge business. And they have much more money that people in these organizations have, and they try and somehow to solve it and prevent it through these different actions and so on. But in our consumeristic world, the more money people have, the more power they have, and they can easily overcome all these obstacles that other organizations are trying to do them. And we meet here at that end, so we cannot anyhow solve it with our common tools, what we have in our society right now in consumer format. But building another framework of the society, like changing all this relationship, changing attitudes to people's life, and just giving an idea that actually it's very beneficial for all to live in a different format of society, to live in the creative society. And, the most important thing that everyone should understand is exactly these benefits of creative society. And these benefits that they give freedom of, in any ways, of living, freedom of, not depending on these typical problems that we have in our everyday life, and much more. And we just need to understand how the creative society format is beneficial for everyone. And let's now watch a video that will show us all the benefits that we will have.
The Creative Society. A society where human life is the highest value, where people respect each other. A safe world without wars or cataclysms. A society where people are confident about the future. Affordable food and housing for all. Work is for 4 days a week, 4 hours a day. Free education and health care. Economic stability. A world without inflation and crises. Available technology. Solution of environmental problems. Would you like to live in such a society? It's not a utopia. It can be our future. A future that we can build together.
that's the benefits that we as a society can enjoy in the creative society that we can build together. Before we go to the next question, I'd like also to share one more just pieces of information or opinion that I heard why the creative society is also beneficial for the people who are in the criminal sector. There was a question that was asked once, why do you think that the criminal sector can support the creative society to what is their benefit in that? And one of the guys who knows this community very well, he said that 80% of those people who are involved in the criminal sector, they are there because they couldn't find themselves somewhere else. However, if the creative society, for example, guarantee every human like stable income, at least $1,000, every month for every human being all over the world, no one would ever risk, his life, his freedom. Why? Why to risk, with what I have and to do bad things if I can lose everything? There are, of course, people, who likes to do that because, they're like animals. But still, for the animals, we, have prisons and other places where we can isolate from, from the society. However, the other people who are in that sector and doing these horrible things, for example, to women doing the human trafficking and things like that, can also find themselves in the creative society and support this project, because this project guarantee every human being stable income and security. Sunita, share with us your opinion, please, about this.
I think that just now we watched about this video, that it is that creative society which creative society can really help. And I do believe this my values and this creative society's values are pretty much the same as well. So, but then it's not like everybody thinks as a creative society. And this in the same way as how we have been speaking about this educating people. So when people are into this same alignment, and also if they can think and also follow this creative society, I think it would become much better. But then it would take an effort as well, and so that people understand and they are in the same page as well. So it would become much better. But slowly but surely things can get better. And also it is much better than just being in the normal society and living in a normal way. And yeah, that's what I think.
And please tell us as well, if we can guarantee every human stable income, which is the same would be like in every country all over the world, how much do you think it will change the problem with human trafficking? How many people would go for risk to lose everything, including his freedom and life, just to continue, for example, being involved in the human trafficking, if that person instead of that would have a stable income and protection from the society for the future?
I think it is pretty hard to say that. It depends on people too, and I think we cannot really generalize that. And even if people are having stable and same income or something, let's say, right, and there would still be different kind of people. Everyone is not the same. We shouldn't forget that. Right. So the greedy people and people who even in the beginning, we already mentioned those people who have been trafficking, right? They are not, it's not that they were not educated or they never had access or something like that. But then still, regardless of that, they still did. Right. So I think even if people would be having the same income or something like that, I would still think that, there would be this same course as well. And people's greed will not stop. The main root is the greed. Imagine, like, can you just even imagine, like, selling off somebody's organ? What if it was yours? So do you really think that everybody thinks that way in that deep level? Not really. I think that, even there would be there would be crime going on, even if that, because like human nature is like, even if they have enough like funding, greed never stops. It's always like they want more and more and more. So even let's say, even if they are aware that, everyone is having the same amount of income, they still want more. Okay. They are not at peace. They're still not happy. So a lot of people are like that. So I really still don't think that it would stop or something. So, people will be still aware. And in fact, one way, if you really think about it, let's say if those traffickers, don't you think that when they are having like, same amount of income, let's say, I think in a way I'm not being negative here, but then I'm just being realistic. I think we can even think other way around. If more people are having same income, right? We might even be able to have more traffickers. Who knows? You never know. Many more people can even join hands. So you know what I mean? Like, that's something possible.
Actually, in order to understand what is how we actually can prevent all of these problems, right, with this in creative society. So we need to understand that, first of all, person will lose everything, really everything that society gives him if he ever commit a crime. So if he do something harmful to another person, and I don't, of course, talking about like extracting his or her organs, right? But even like shouting at other people, hitting other people will be already persecuted by society, and we really need to do something with it, because it's not normal that anyone can aggressively behave towards somebody. It's not okay at all. And we as society, we should all be responsible for preventing this. And the person, as I said, of course, if it's, for example, just shouting at somebody, he or she must, for example, clean toilets or for like invisible place, and everybody should see that. But in the worst case, people should be just isolated. And because if they cannot behave themselves as humans, then sorry guys, it's the same situation actually with these wild animals or something. When, for example, a wild animal appears in a city, just isolated. And the second option, the second idea, that in creative society, all the advanced technologies in security, and believe me, there are really a lot of things right now, a lot of technologies that we have, that we can track any movement, anything. But right now in our society, it's, for example, are in different hands, right? So, and different organizations using them for their purposes. But in creative society, all these technologies will help us to really make the world secure, safe, and it will be not possible at all that like this cancer, as I say, like this disease in our society, right? They will spread. No, it will be just shrink, and we will just get rid of it as a, like this organ that are not needed in our organisms. We just extract it and throw it away, because it will be not possible to, for example, somehow make this happen, right? Because in order to really understand, and I also during our conversation thought about that like it's really a lot of people are involved. This infrastructure, how people are transported across the countries, how people get, for example, from the safe place to on a table where the organs are extracted. And really, there are some people who are doing that, and it will be not possible. At least, like when you understand and really think towards yourself, you will do everything you can just really to live in a safe world.
I think, this case is like, I think we should have this people who are empathetic and who are still in senses. Of course, even, if of course, those normal people still have greeds and stuff, right? But then we are still empathetic and we are in senses. I think like one way what we can do is we can become more severe, and we should punish people. We should punish people those are trafficking, and and also more and more countries should abolish and take a serious action. And like that's the only way which we can do. And also right now, just now what you said, technology and the creative society can help. So we should make use of this. And because how fast this technology can go, right, like the news and everything can go faster than before. This is an internet era. So the times has changed. So we should use all these benefits which we have. And of course, we cannot just sit and complain and stuff like that. So what I see is that with this, along with the help of the technology and really like, punishing people, giving a serious, this thing action, and that's the things which, and also having a much more tougher rules and regulations, and even more countries should abolish and take this serious action. And that would really help, instead of just not saying it as words or something, you know what I mean, like, and also do more campaigns and help, like, and even people who are expert in that, right, not just sit there, and also not just having a talk, like really like taking an action. And also it doesn't have to be very huge, and I think like everyone can join the hand. And also this world has become a global village now, this because of the technology, we are not far away from each other. It just seems like everyone is just around here. So if somebody has some good idea, share and try to help out. And I think it's like going alone or only just one country will not really help. We just need to join hands and go like very far, like together. I think just going by ourselves or just few countries, that will not really help, because I'm just being realistic as well, because it has been going on from long time, right? And but what I see, just like, even to be more honest, I think there are more people who are just having more of a talk and you know what I mean, like more of a talk and less of an action. Let's face it, I know it sounds very bitter, but that's the truth. I'm sure you both will even agree with me that, and also sometimes, I'm not even blaming everyone as well. Sometimes even we ourselves, like we forget to be aware at times as well. And you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not just blaming other people, and even we ourselves are like, responsible, and I think we have to be more responsible than this, and I think while we are having this type of conversations, I think this really helps us. And I really hope as well this forum and this discussion will really help, to spread more awareness, and, we start taking more action, better action. And even in our day-to-day life, it doesn't have to be a big action. And we live with this awareness daily that, even we are all responsible. And sometimes even myself, I do know that, but then we, get to neglect sometimes, and being busy in our real world and in our life. And don't you think so? I feel it is the truth, So, but then let's have more awareness in these cases, so that we know we are more reminded, because we are all lost in our own world, doing our own things. So, even if we have this discussion, even if we have education, but then we are all like, it is understandable as well that we all have our own stuff going on. But then I think time to time, there should be reminder for us, so that we can really take actions and not just having a talks, right? So, and also this, like you just now mentioned about technology and living in this real creative society. And, I think this will be more materialized if we are like, taking more action than just not speaking and stuff like that. And also I'm really thankful actually, and having, this conversation and also discussion here, right? This is a huge help for me as well. I'm just being very much like honest over here. And this made me, even when I was preparing and when I was like getting this opportunity to really made me think a lot, to be really honest. And like I said, we are all like busy, lost in our own world too. Sometimes, even if we know, we forget it, and like a lot of the times. And also we cannot really blame ourselves because we have a lot of things as well to do and, like work on our living and stuff like that. But then this is really great. And I hope that this forum and this discussion will help a lot of people to be aware and take more action as well.
Thank you very much, Sunita. I'd like to add also that actually I would blame everyone. Why? Because as long as we keep silence, as long as we are tolerating this problem will not disappear. And that's actually where everyone would need to take active actions to inform people about the creative society, to inform people about the problems that we're facing, to inform people that we already have opportunities and chance to solve these problems all over the world. Like Alex said, for example, if we implement already the technologies that we have right now, and the person who's committing a crime, doesn't matter which one, a serious or a non-serious crime, but still when he did something bad against the health or the life or the property of other people, and he knows that the punishment is inevitable, he would not do that. Moreover, if he knows that, for example, living in the creative society, he has a stable income, he has his medical insurance, he has his life protected, he has a place to live, food to eat, clothes to eat, food to work, he would not take any risk against whatever, either the property or the life or the health of other people, just to earn additional dollar, because he will know for sure that he will lose everything forever. And that's why it is important, for example, to tell people that all these problems we can really solve in the creative society. And that's where right now every person needs to take most active actions about informing people that we already can do that. Because right now, like you, Sunita, said, that we're all interconnected. This is a village right now. The planet has become a one village. When we communicate, for example, I'm in Ukraine, Alex in Germany, you're in Myanmar, and we can communicate, right now at the same time without, any, pauses, breaks or whatever. We already have opportunity to exchange opinions right now. The same with technologies, when we can, track the crimes and, arrest people who did something against the life or the health of other people. And when, I will repeat myself, but when they know that, for example, this crime will not will be, the punishment will be inevitable, that person will think at least thousands times before do that, but more likely will not do that. And right now, I would like to say that, dear viewers, dear friends, let's build the creative society right now. Let's inform each other about the benefits, because everyone is going to benefit from the creative society, every single person. This is for sure, because on the first place, we put our life, our freedom, our security, our protection, medical health, education, and all other society benefits for everyone. That's what we need to do right now, and that's already possible. If you would like, for example, to join the conversation, international discussion about the topic that you're an expert with, we're inviting you to visit our website, which is called creativesociety.com. Send us email at info@creativesociety.com. Join the project, ask us a question, or send us a request that you would like to participate in the international discussion, offer the topics that you would like to raise and discuss with other experts. You're more than welcome. And Sunita, thank you very much for joining us today and answering our questions. We truly believe, and it's not only belief, I'm sure totally sure that, for example, the problem of human trafficking can be solved very quickly if we unite our efforts in building a different world, the world of not consumeristic attitude to each other, but in the world when we, first of all, love, respect, and value each other. Thank you very much for joining us today. And I would like also to give the floor to Alex right now.
Yeah, thank you. And I'd like also to thank you, Sunita, for your sincere discussion, for your sincere words, because, this sincerity and can give us a lot of insights, really, how to solve these issues, like how to explain to people the need of building a creative society. And you know what? Because when we are, for example, right now in all of our range of our problems, right? So we have different issues at home, at work, and the whole format is just like trying to get as much as our attention as possible. You need to pay that, go there and solve these. And like when most of the material issues will be solved, like with your home, with your education, food, medical care, everything will be on track. And in creative society, it is possible, because it will be another attitude towards people's lives, and there will be no ideas like lack of money or lack of funds. Everything will be for the benefits of people. And that time when you will be secure, your life will be so happy when you start helping other people, when you go to the places where these issues are still happening, and you do everything you can in order to really help people to overcome their issues. And you will do it with full of your heart, with full effort. You really can do everything because this makes you happy. And like this idea that when you really can live happily, that's what really motivates me personally toward informing people about creative society, because in my understanding, it's the most important thing that every person can do right now, that I can do right now, to tell people about creative society, because only together we can change all the issues, overcome all these problems, and it will be not a world of issues, it will be a world of happiness. And that's for me what creative society is about. So thank you.
You're most welcome.
I'd like also to thank our dear viewers. Thank you for watching us. And if you want to share and tell people about creative society, or about topic that we discussed in our today's international discussion, please share this video, or make your own video about, with your understanding as well, what you just heard, what you want to tell to other people using your social networks. Every word is very valuable right now, and the input of every person really brings us further towards creative society. So thank you again, and see you soon in the next discussion.